every letter has to be intact, accurately written. And even if it was written accurately, but if one letter fell off, now it deems the whole Torah to be unkosher and unfit for ritual usage. Because this is a godly document. And just like within Jewish people, every person is important within creating a computer. Every particle of making it is crucial for the success of its purpose, for it to work. Likewise with the Torah, in order for it to work, to bestow upon it that superpower, if you will, that spiritual energy from God, every letter has to be there, because every letter has its own life and own energy. And the moment you take one of those little pieces out, it starts to cause a short, if you will, in that energy. So to keep the energy intact, you need all the letters.
The Torah that the rabbi is working on and repairing came to us by way of Lawn Manor Hebrew Congregation in Chicago, Illinois. In October of 1995, the high holidays of that year, we realized that all we had were these little paper Torahs that we used for Friday night services, and wanted to get a full-size, real kosher Torah. So my father spoke with his old congregation in Chicago, Lawn Manor Hebrew Congregation. They said that they would consider his request and they would get back to him. They called back several days later and told him that not only would they be happy to lend him a Torah, they would make it a gift to our congregation. So once Lawn Manor Hebrew Congregation voted to give us the Torah, my father and mother flew back to Chicago, bought a seat for it on an airplane, 3 across, 2 of them and the Torah in the middle, and they flew it here.
So when we opened up the Torah, we immediately saw that the parchment was not attached to the pole, and in other words, the stitching that holds the parchment together was not on there, not on the pole and not on the parchment. And one of the reasons was that the parchment was torn in 4 different places, very serious tears, and as a result it completely separated from the poles. But one of the tears was so large that it actually went through into the column where the letters are, and it cut through 2 words in the actual column of the Torah. And the 2 words that it tore into were the name of God and the following word, Elokim and Merachefet, right at the beginning of the Torah. And this is really a big problem, making the Torah very unkosher. After many phone calls to Israel, New York, trying to verify a halachic authority that can verify the best and accurate way to restore it, the decision was to cut out those words from the parchment, apply a patch in that place, and then eventually we're going to be writing over those words, again, correctly in the right place. So that's what we're up to right now. There are other issues with the Torah, but this was the main problem, which hopefully we will resolve very soon.
You can leave your messages up. Yeah, I'm good.
Our first goal was, in fact, to restore the scroll so it would be we could call it kosher. It would be proper and fitting so that we could use it for the high holy days and other special holidays. The other very essential aspect of this wonderful project is to help sustain the life and the future of Congregation Beit Tikva. And it's really a privilege to be able to stand in front of a scroll like this and to help repair it.
Seeing this open like this, is very rare to see. And I mean, our heritage is such that the Torah should be kosher. And by doing this, it's a real mitzvah. And I'm glad that I was part of it.
As a mother, I felt really proud. I felt like there was a power and a special feeling coming around us. And I felt a connection to the Torah, to the Kabbalistic ideas. He was talking about the Tav, how it's the first letter in the alphabet, and to see her do it really gave me a heart full of love and power.
It was just a visceral feeling. It just was a very wonderful, connected feeling to God.
The experience of writing a letter, at first it was just overwhelming because I realized I was writing on parchment and I was holding the quill. It was just a feeling of being connected with thousands of years and thousands of souls. And I mean, it just was so powerful. It was a really amazing experience. I'm still crying.
I really wasn't sure what was going to happen. I mean, I didn't think I was going to be writing on the Torah. I held the thing while he marked on the Torah, and he was pointing to the part in the Torah where my husband's name was, his initial, I should say, not his whole name. And I thought, Sid, this is for you.
So the concept of Torah is not meant to be a static type of experience where you learned it, you loved it, you shared it, next. It has to be something that lives on. And the whole concept of Torat Chaim, a living Torah, is when it applies at all times and all places to every single person. So as you saw today and yesterday, how many people came through in writing a letter in a Torah, and each one wrote a different letter in a different word, and yet each one had a different and unique message that applied to them. So the truth is, when one looks at Torah, one does not have to necessarily yet read the entire Torah. It starts with one letter that can actually have an entire impact on themselves and on their entire life. And the reality is that the Jewish people have been taking this nourishment from this Torah and ever since been living by it. A Torat Chaim, a living Torah, means that it continues to live actually inside of us. And if I might take it one step further, this may be somewhat of a bold statement, but us as Jews, we become almost the reflection of the Torah. And when you want to know what does the Torah look like, I'm going to look at you. I'm going to look at me. And how we act and how we perform, we are really that reflection of this living Torah. And the more we aspire to do good and kind and mitzvot and act as Jews, so the living Torah lives on.